But one thing we cannot do as a nation is we cannot celebrate Thanksgiving.
The people you've been learning the Bible from, they've been lying to you.
Shalom, Baltimore. We are the ISUPK, coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. We are not affiliated with any other religious organizations. Today I'll come out and I have to ask Baltimore a question, which I ask every week. I have to ask you a question. The first thing before my question, I'm going to tell you something. That Thanksgiving next week, which is going to be celebrated by hundreds and thousands and millions of people across the United States, Thanksgiving is a disaster to our people and an abomination to our God. I'm actually going to prove it to you today. I'm going to prove to you why Thanksgiving is an abomination and a disaster to our people. The first question I want to ask you today, I have a couple questions. On August 6th or on August 9th, do the Japanese have celebrations of those days? Do they break out and have food on those days? Right. Do they rejoice on those days? Of course not. Why don't they rejoice on August 6th and on August 9th? Why? Because that's when Nagasaki and Hiroshima were bombed by the atomic bomb. What Japanese in their right mind would celebrate on those days? Let me ask you another question. On December 7th, does the United States break out turkeys and have a good celebration? Why wouldn't they do that? Why? Because that's the day of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Let me let this noise go back by for a second. Right. We're going to get some more on this in 1 second, but let this noise go by. On 9/11, do we celebrate as America? Does this country celebrate 9/11 as a day of Thanksgiving? That's a day of mourning to serve the so-called Americans. So then why would we, as the black man, Hispanic man, or the others in the Israelite groups, celebrate Thanksgiving? That should not be a day of Thanksgiving. That should be a day of mourning. That should be the day of mourning. You know why? Because when you celebrate Thanksgiving, what you're really saying is that you're celebrating the stealing of the land of the Poconos. You're celebrating broken treaties. You're celebrating the destruction of the Pequots. You're celebrating the beheading of King Philip. That's what you're celebrating when you celebrate Thanksgiving. And this is showing you, Thanksgiving is a day that shows who the white man really is, which is a thief and a liar. Christ talked about what a thief is. Give me John 10, verse 10. We're going to talk about the true characteristics of the white man and why you should not celebrate Thanksgiving. Why you should stay far away from that day. Why that day is actually a poison to our people. Why that day is not a day that we should celebrate. Why next Thursday should be a day of mourning for our people. It should be a day of sadness for our people. For this country to have the audacity to sit down and break bread and have turkey on a Thanksgiving Day, which talks about the destruction of hundreds of thousands or even millions of Native Americans on this soil. That's why we should stay far away from it. Thanksgiving shows that the white man is the thief of who he really is. Let's get a scripture to show what the characteristics of a thief are. You got John 10, verse 10? Read.
It's the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal.
To steal. He stole the natives' lands. Go ahead.
And to kill.
He killed millions of natives on this soil. Go ahead.
And to destroy.
He destroyed the Pequots, the Poconos, the Narragansetts. That's who he destroyed. Go ahead.
I am come that they may have life.
The Christ came, who was sent by the Most High, so that we in Israel may have life. And we will have it abundantly if we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. But one thing we cannot do as a nation is we cannot celebrate Thanksgiving. That's right. We cannot celebrate this holiday because it shows who the white man really is. The white man actually laughs, black man, Hispanic man, when we join in and celebrate the destruction of our brothers who are the natives, because that's what really happened on this day. The native man was deceived with treaties by the white man. Hundreds and hundreds of treaties were broken Okay? And what did the white man do? Give me Psalm 55, verse 21. When the white man makes a treaty, all the treaties that he's made, he always has a way to seem like he's really on your side. He always makes a way to seem like he's your friend. But you will see that the Bible speaks of what type of characteristics it is when you make a treaty with an enemy. Because the Wampanoags and all the other native tribes that were deceived, they were deceived by treaties from the white man. Don't believe that story that you heard when we were kids. What was the Thanksgiving story when we were kids? You heard that William Bradford and Massasoit just sat down and had a friendly meal and they were all laughing and joking and talking to each other and made a friendship. Thanksgiving is not about that. It's about broken promises. It's about the destruction and the lies that the white man has done. And every time he makes a treaty, this is the attitude that he has. You got that?
Psalm 55, verse 1.
21. Some, and they're still fucking. And they still tell him that lie. And school's gonna come, son.
Hey, why the hell is you lying to a damn child?
Come.
Right.
You're lying to a child about Thanksgiving like we ain't gonna figure it out.
That's right.
Then we get older, we're like, you know what? I don't know about that story. They was talking about elementary school.
Come.
They got your kids in there doing the damn palm print, making a damn turkey. And then they get in the middle school and they gotta look at the oppressor teaching them. I'm sorry. That made me mad. And listen, this is how you know the native Indians is your brother. Because they then turned around and they created the critical race theory.
Come.
And then turned around and when the critical race theory was already being done when they was teaching us about Thanksgiving.
Come.
Believe that? So now they saying that the slavery was what? A goddamn immigration. The great immigration of black folk or whatever. They did the same thing with our brother Gad, man. The North American Indian.
That's what give Captain Sapari a hand. And what makes it really sad is they have a whole parade celebrating the Thanksgiving, what's it called? The Macy's Day Parade. To celebrate in New York. That's a smack in our face, Akim. That's a smack in the Native Americans' face for us to celebrate. But this is why we believed and trusted the white man, because he came to us like this. Read.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The white man, when he talks to you and makes a treaty, he always comes with smooth words. It's the same thing when he makes a contract from a brother from the hood, talking about how much the brother's going to gain. And you notice every time he makes a contract, you walk away, or we walk away with absolutely nothing, and he walks away with the whole pie. Right. Read more.
But war was in his heart.
War was on his heart. War was on the colonizer's heart when he made a deal with the Pokanoket. War was on his heart to steal those lands. War was on his heart to give them those diseases purposely when he traded. War was on his heart. Read on.
His words were softer than oil.
His words were softer than oil. He talked to the natives and said, I will protect you. I will help you. The truth about behind Thanksgiving is our brothers wanted protection from other tribes. But did the colonizer do that? No. He went up behind their backs and made deals with the other tribes to destroy all the tribes, to remove them off the land. Read.
Yet were they drawing swords.
Yes, they were drawing swords. The whole thing behind Thanksgiving was to make war on our native brothers. Why would we celebrate that? Why would we sit down and have turkey about that? And the same spirit that the white man has about Thanksgiving, to sit there and have food, is the same attitude he had when he lynched us from trees all throughout the 18th, 19th, and 20th century. Right. When he lynched us, after he lynched us, what would he do? He would sit there and have a barbecue after, and take pictures with our murdered brothers and sisters. That is the spirit behind Thanksgiving. He sits there and laughs at you. The Most High is against Thanksgiving. He does not like Thanksgiving. He actually hates Thanksgiving. Let's prove it. Give me Proverbs 26. They used to have picnics after they hung you from the tree. They used to have picnics. They used to celebrate. It was a badge of honor to kill a brother and dismantle him. It was a badge of honor to take a native's head off of his head. That's why you got the native's head on there, and the Washington Redskins or Commandos, whatever they're called. the spirit behind it. That was a badge of honor. That was like a trophy. So why would we sit here and celebrate a holiday that's against God and that's a slap in our face towards our native brothers? It's a slap in our face. You got that?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 26.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 24. Go ahead.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 24. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips.
He that hateth dissembleth with his lips. He disguises his words. Every time you make a treaty or a deal with the white man, he disguises his words. You know why the white man is so tricky? When he makes a contract with you, have you noticed nobody can read it? What do you have to do to get to read the contract? You gotta hire a lawyer. Right. You gotta actually hire another white man to actually tell you what it says.
Right.
You don't think he had that same attitude when he was making a treaty with our native brothers? He has the same attitude. Read.
And layeth up deceit within him.
He layeth up deceit. He's not going to be fair to you. He wasn't fair to any of us. He wasn't fair to our Hispanic brothers. What he'll do is he tries to do what he always has done, is divide and conquer, put us against each other. Read on.
When he speaketh fair, believe him not.
Do not believe the words that he says. The white man has made this a national holiday so that you can sit down and be lulled to sleep, which is a slap in our face to our native brothers.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're one